The regular meeting of the Mishawaka Common Council for Monday, January 23rd, 2023 will please come to order. Good evening. Those of you who are in attendance, welcome. If you would, please take a moment to check your cell phone to make sure that you have it on vibrate or silent. We appreciate that. To those of you who are participating remotely, we welcome you as well. Those of you who are participating remotely are asked to place your microphone on mute during the meeting with the exception of any public hearing. At the appropriate point in the public hearing, I will invite the public to unmute their microphone for purposes of submitting such comments as they may wish to make, one person at a time. All persons wishing to make public comments will be asked to first state their name and address for the record, and after completing the comment, members of the public are once again asked to place their microphone on mute. And we thank everyone for their cooperation this evening. At this point, if you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Hazen?
Here.
Mr. Belovich? Mr. Mamalenti?
Here.
Mr. Bednicki?
Here.
Mr. Emmons?
Here.
Mrs. DeMade?
Here.
Mr. Compton?
Here.
Mrs. Volker?
Here.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Here. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of January 9th, 2023. Are there any additions or corrections? Then hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President, we have a letter from the City Plan Commission regarding their recommendations from their January 10th meeting. Honorable members, a regular meeting of the Mishawaka Plan Commission was held on the above referenced date, at which time the following proposed ordinance was considered. Petition number 22-22, a petition submitted by MCC Self-Storage and Morris Sales requesting to rezone property at the northeast corner of Merrifield Avenue and 12th Street from C1 General Commercial District to C7 Automobile-Oriented Restaurant Commercial to allow the outlot to be developed. The Commission, with a vote of 8-0, recommended approval. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-4-605, the Mishawaka City Plan Commission hereby certifies to the Mishawaka Common Council the attached proposed ordinance regarding the above matter. This is signed by Carrie Myers, Administrative Planner.
Thank you. This evening, we have no report of any special committee, so we'll move into ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-01, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, is from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone outlot from C1 General Commercial to C7 Automobile-Oriented Restaurant Commercial, northeast corner of 12th Street and Merrifield.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-01 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-02, an ordinance approving an amended agreement between the City of Mishawaka and the Mishawaka Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 91.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-02 will be assigned to the Public Health and Safety Committee. We also have no resolutions in front of us this evening, nor any ordinances on second reading, so we'll move into privilege of the floor. And at this time, members of the public are invited to the podium to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor.
Good evening, Council. My name is Myron Larimer. I'm with Habitat for Humanity of St. Joseph County, 402 East South Street in South Bend, Indiana. This evening, what I'd like to do is just share with the Council our Aging in Place program. We are providing weatherization kits for seniors in need of some assistance with some of the cold weather issues. It's for minor issues. The kits include window insulation kit, rubber window seal kits, insulation for electric outlets and switches, two-door draft dodgers, a fleece blanket, a pack of hand warmers, and a battery-operated lantern. And we'd just like to share this with council members so that as they come across their constituents and members of the public here in Mishawaka, they can share this information with them. So I would just like to leave these with you, and ask that you share this with the public. And it does include some requirements. It has to be, meet certain age requirements and income requirements. Must be over 60 years old in terms of one full-time occupant. It has to be owner-occupied. No rental properties, mobile homes, or condominiums. Taxes and insurance must be current. And we've left our phone number on the information, and the kids would be picked up at our office in South Bend. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those at this time.
Thank you. We appreciate the information, and when you're done speaking, you can leave that with the clerk, and she'll make sure that she distributes a copy to all of us. But before we do that, are there any questions for Mr. Larimer? Then again, thank you, sir. We appreciate you and Habitat for Humanity making us aware of this.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Honorable Council, Matt Lynch, Executive Director of Development and Governmental Affairs. Just want to bring to your attention a couple matters. One is regarding the legislation that we are proposing with the help of Senator Rogers. One of them has to do with our CSO long-term control plan, and that relates to sort of a way for us to achieve what we need to achieve with hopefully getting at revision to our long-term control plan, but this affects sort of CSO and how the discharge under wet weather conditions is measured. So we're very hopeful. This is on the website. It is being proposed. We're hoping for a hearing, but just wanted to keep you aware of that. The second legislation that we're working on is essentially a beverage area for the ironworks. It will help us to better utilize that area for those that work with us, the vendors, for them not to have temporary alcohol permits for events that they make up, especially during the summer months. Right now, the way that the law works is you have to have an area attached to a building. So instead of having something like temporary walls that are set up, and that would be just very ugly, we're hoping that, and we're working on legislation, and some of our vendors have worked with us, and legislation is being proposed in the House and the Senate. So we have at least two forms of legislation that are going forward, and possibly a third. The third would be related to freedom filmers, and for those of you who are or aren't aware, those are the folks who stop and film our police officers, or they could actually come into our building here and film us at our work. But they're trying to put some stringent parameters around that. While they have the legal right to do that, it could cause, and it has caused, public safety concerns, and we're afraid that somebody's going to get hurt. So there's many communities in the state of Indiana that are working at this together. So, and finally, I just wanted to let you know of one final thing, and that is we are seeking to launch a new website on January 31st. And just as we've moved from a school that we outgrew early after we went into that building around 1986, and a building that we outgrew with Mishawaka Utilities probably in the 60s, and a building that we outgrew at the police station in the 90s, so as we have way outgrown, and it's our current website. I say it looks like Encyclopedia Britannica. Our new website is somewhat modeled after the Greenwood website, but it looks like a collegiate website. It is easily navigatable and will provide information at a glance. Very easy to navigate, get information, but we hope that becomes a primary source of communication to our citizens. So just wanted to bring you up to speed on a few issues. Take any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Lynch? Mrs. Volker?
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Lynch. do have a question on the beverage
Area?
legislation,
Yeah.
beverage area. Are there other communities in Indiana that have those types of permits, or are there other communities that can work together with us?
There's other communities like Carmel that has such an area. So this language would be specific to Mishawaka. There's another one in northwest Indiana, I can't remember the exact location, that has a set area and have proposed, there's specific legislation that comes up, that legislation that would be specific to a city or municipality, and this is one that would be specific to us.
And-
But modeled after those in Carmel or other areas. And there's actually an area up in Michigan as well, obviously, doesn't fall under our legislature, but is a similar area that we're looking at. So it's not out of the question or out of the ordinary.
No, there's a model that we're following.
Yes.
And a successful model that we're
Yes,
following.
exactly.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. Other questions for Mr. Lynch? Then thank you, Matt, and please
Thank
keep us
you.
updated as the legislation progresses.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak under privilege of the floor?
Hi, my name's Haley Nice, and I live at 443 Ballard Avenue in Mishawaka. And I just want to start by I spoke to you guys a few months ago about abortion rights in the state, and I want to update on that. Currently, abortion is legal in Indiana because there are multiple court cases that have to do with freedom of religion and the right to privacy that's founded in our state constitution, and those are being heard before the Supreme Court right now. But I also want to talk to you about what else the State Assembly has introduced for our state. They've introduced 11 anti-LGBT bills this session, and an attempt to further erode bodily autonomy and freedom of expression rights in our state. These bills are HB 1118, HB 1130, HB 1220, HB 1231, HB 1232, HB 1338, HB 1346, HB 1407, SB 12, SB 354, and SB 358. These will actively harm trans youth and their parents and/or community. I have a laundry list of research supporting trans rights and the science backing up why cutting off their gender-affirming care is harmful, and I would be glad to share it with the council via email. I don't want to take up too much of your time, although the speech is a little lengthy, on all 11 bills, so I will just focus on a few main points. Many of these bills, like I said, infringe on our right to self-expression and freedom of speech, and they flat out discriminate based on gender. SB 354 will put trans youth in danger of their parents that are not accepting of their gender expression and infringes on their right to freedom of speech as well. It will put teachers in schools in the position of outing LGBT students to their potentially homophobic and transphobic family members, further pushing trans youth towards self-harm and potential homelessness or death. SB 12 will criminalize librarians and school staff for doing their jobs of providing information to the public. If you are not already aware, there are 10 steps that are generally considered when analyzing levels of genocide. And yes, this is the path we are on if these bills go into state law. They are classification, symbolization, discrimination, dehumanization, organization, polarization, preparation, which is the step that we are currently in, persecution, extermination, and denial. Based on these 11 bills introduced at state level, and a bill recently introduced in West Virginia, and we are not far behind, we are at step 7, which is preparation. If we want to be better than those who came before us, we must stand against discriminatory bills and all other forms of violence against subjugated peoples. I know that the State Assembly has asked all counties to put out resolutions either supporting or opposing SB 12. And if they ask cities as well, I implore the council to oppose the bill. We have a strong community here and in South Bend. Please show that you support the citizens of Mishawaka when the time comes. There is some hope for LGBT people in the state, albeit a small sliver. SB 39 would increase protections for queer people and everyone else in schools. I ask the board to pass a resolution supporting SB 39. And if you need more information on LGBT issues and our needs in the city, please reach out to the LGBT Center in South Bend. Now is the time to step up. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the council? Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak under privilege of the floor? Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak? Thank you. We'll now move into unfinished business, of which there is none. New business. We have the need to make an appointment to the Transpo Board. This is an annual appointment that we do, so at this point in time, the chair would entertain a motion to reappoint Ken Kallenbach from School City of Mishawaka to the Transpo Board of Trustees, retroactive to June of 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to reappoint Ken Kallenbach to the Transpo Board, retroactive to June of 2022. Any additional questions or comments?
So moved.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Kallenbach is appointed unanimously. One other item of new business has been suggested to us in consultation with the mayor and his office. A suggestion has been made that it would be in everyone in the community's best interest to hold the annual State of the City address to the council here in the chambers on Monday, March 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. So the chair would entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to hold and ask the mayor and invite him to present his State of the City address to the council on Monday, March 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will hear from his honor on March 27th then. Is there any other new business to come before the council? If not, then a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you.